What's up, guys? Clutchback37 here, going to bring you a Firethreads Traditional Lacrosse set review. Obviously, you don't know what Firethreads are. I would highly look them up on YouTube and Google. You can find some videos of Lawrence Smith, who is the creator of these, talking about it. Go on Instagram. You can see Firethreads on a bunch of people's sticks and things like that. But one thing I really want to dive into is a traditional set. So a little background story. Firethreads, when they first came out, I liked the idea of it, but I didn't think it would work just because it has a lot of grip to a stick. I figured the way I string my sticks, if I throw a fire thread or two in there for shooting strings, it would have too much whip. But it really doesn't. And I'll do a video on fire threads probably next week, so you guys can get a feel for the actual shooting strings and sidewall strings. But today we're going to talk about the leather set. So the leather kit, if you buy both the Forerunners and the cross lace that are from Firethreads, it comes to be about $24, which is only about $2 to $4 more expensive than a standard traditional stringing kit, which is a great price. The only issue with that is if you do buy the kit, it does not come with Firethread shooting strings or sidewalls. So to get those, you have to go out and buy a stringing kit or just individual shooters or sidewall strings if you really want to make it a full Firethread stick. So ideally, you spend maybe $30, $35 to get a complete Firethreads Traditional, but I think it's definitely worth it. So these came out back in December, I believe, and since then I've always wanted to try them. I just never want to spend the money on it. But finally, about 2 weeks ago, I bit the bullet, bought some sets, and I'm absolutely in love. So we'll start out with the cons. I really don't have a whole lot to say. The rails themselves, they don't have any slits like normal leathers do, so it's kind of hard to attach them to the scoop if you don't know what you're doing. But all you have to do is look at some posts of Firethreads or be creative, and you can figure something out. I've seen some people where they attach it on the sides here and then go across and loop it in and go down, which ideally I probably should have done. I just didn't. I've seen some people attach it the way that girls' sticks do on the outside, where I don't even know what the knot's called. So that's the way I do it. The way I did it is like a normal mesh stick, where I did the double hitch knot, I believe it's called, up top. And what I did was I left some extra room for the extra fire thread so I could wrap it around and pull it. That way, if it gets loosened or tightened, all I have to do is untie this part real quick and tighten it. But with the grip print, I don't see these moving at all. I've been messing with this for some time now, and they've stayed just about as tight as I did before. The rails are extremely long, which is also nice because you can mess around with how to attach to the top. You have a lot of space to work with, and if you're someone who likes to do crazy braids down here at the bottom with your traditionals, easily done. Normally with my traditionals, after I loop them through here, I do one knot on the front and then double it on the back. But with these, I was able to do 2 knots on the front, 2 knots on the back, and then with the middle leathers, or the outer leathers, since they're a little tighter and they have a bit more slack to them, I could double knot on the front, and the inside ones, I was able to do a single knot, but I can easily get away with a double knot. So those are very long. The only con I would say is finding a way to attach them, but like I said, if you know what you're doing or have someone that knows what they're doing, it's really easy to do. The only other con I could really say is the cross-lace portion of the Firethreads only has grip on one side, not both sides. So you have to really take your time and to ensure that you get most of the grip print on the inside of the pocket where you need it. I normally string my traditionals from the back. It's just the way I do it. But with these, I had to string it to the front to make sure that the grip stayed. But like I said, you take your time, you can easily figure it out. So getting to the actual pros, if you've ever used a traditional stick, I did all through a lot of my high school years, my first year of college. I used almost strictly traditional, or at least most of the time. Or at least I always had a traditional backup stick or one to mess around with. You notice that it feels great, but if you're someone like me who uses a lot of snap and a lot of whip, it's really hard to really hone in on getting the traditional to work perfectly for you. So you either have too much hold and too much whip, or not enough hold and a good amount of whip. It takes a lot of time to break in and get the leathers to be really soft and really hold the ball. But with these, with the grip print, it has all the hold you can want and really not a whole lot of whip to it. When I first strung it up, I had passed around with it without shooting strings, and it had a lot of snap to it, a lot of feel. That's because there's nothing here to really hold the ball or shoot the ball out. It just kind of traveled up and got hooked. But even without shooting strings, I can make this work for me very well. Adding Firethreads in there, I noticed that passing and shooting, it doesn't add a whole lot of whip to it. It adds a bit more of a smoother release and a little more snap. which I really like. Any normal traditional stick you string, you have to go back through and work with the tension, maybe have to move the knots up and down a little bit. But the Firethreads, since they do have the grip print, ideally once you string it up and where you place the knots and the tension, that's how it's going to stay throughout the life of the stick. I've been messing around with this for 2 weeks and none of the knots have shifted at all. It stretched out a very small amount, but since then, I mean, it's just held its shape. The grip print really allows for a very unique feel to it. Cradling, normally traditionals you may hit the sides, which I like, but with the grip print, it really just naturally holds the ball right where you want it to. If you go to cradle low, it does take a little more to shift it low because it does have the grip print, but it's naturally just going to hold the ball with the grip print wherever you have it. Going to release, as it releases here, it hits the Firethread shooting strings and just kind of rolls out naturally. I did a little shooting demo or testing with it with a normal traditional and this one had a bit more feel and a bit more snap to the shots, which I absolutely loved. So overall, if you're a traditional enthusiast or someone who really likes a traditional stick and you don't want to worry about breaking it in, or you want something that has a lot of hold and a decent amount of whip, I would highly recommend using these. I am absolutely in love. I think it's revolutionary, but I also think it's not something that's going to necessarily change the game, but make a traditional pocket a lot better. The grip print is just, I thought it was a gimmick, but after using it, it's very unique, and I love the way it feels. The outer leathers or outer rails, as you can see, if you look at the pocket, you don't see any grip print. That's because I moved them to the sides. That way, when you have the ball here, the grip print on all four synthetic rails or rails themselves is actually touching the ball, so you get the most out of it. Other than that, I really can't say anything bad about this stuff. I love it. If you know anyone who strings traditional or you string traditional and you think you can pull it off, I highly would suggest using it. One thing I might have wished I did was use a Tradie tree, but really, I'm really in love with this stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys maybe will consider picking up a set of this stuff. It's incredible. It's fun. We have summer lacrosse coming up, and if you want something to mess around with or try something new, I would suggest the Firethreads Traditional set. I will have a couple of these that I will string up in sticks and sell, so that'll be coming soon. But until then, let me know what you guys think. If you've ever tried these before, comment down below. Let me know what you guys' opinions are on them. And just overall Firethreads. I used to be a non-believer, but after using them for some time now and messing around with them, I'm a huge fan of them. Like I said, I'll do a Firethreads review of the actual shooting strings and sidewall strings here in the next day or two, or next week, I guess. Yeah, I'm just absolutely in love with this stick. It actually might be one that I, use a lot in games, practices, whatever it may be. You really can't say anything bad about this. As long as you take your time and you either know what you're doing, you have someone that knows what they're doing, you can make this an absolute beauty of a pocket. So, thanks for watching, guys. Real quick before I go, what are you doing? Girlfriend's cat's here. Real quick before I go, I have some custom dyed sticks and custom strung heads I want to show you guys. They're up on the website. I do have summer lacrosse coming up, and I'd like to hook up my team with some custom pennies, so I'm trying to move these as fast as possible. So without further ado, I have the Kanye Mark II-V up for grabs, strung with 3S. I'll change it up if you want me to, but one hell of a die, took quite some time. Really unique, definitely up for grabs. Next is a String King Mark II-D. I play attack and sometimes midi, so I have no use for a defensive head, and all my defenders on my team use the command. So Mark II-D, 3S, nice pocket. Then we got Mark II-V, custom dyed with a Maryland Terps theme to it. Yellow and white, kind of turtle shell pattern, and then Terps and the script logo up there, and then nothing down, just all white. Pretty cool for a Mark II-V. Nice and subtle if you're a big Maryland fan like myself. Then lastly, before I get into the dyed heads, is a Mark II-A. Starting with a P34 variant, so it's got the triangle top string with the skip up here. 2 rolled nylons, rolled shooting string, 3S mesh, nice and low pocket. Super incredible release. I actually might keep this for myself if it doesn't sell in a couple of days, but really don't have a whole use for the Mark II-A. It's just not my kind of favorite head. But then getting into the custom dyed heads, for those you don't know, I do dye heads. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram and not a whole lot on YouTube just because I really haven't had a whole lot of time working full-time, going to school full-time, playing lacrosse. We spent the last month traveling a whole lot, so I'm going to try and get back into YouTube videos as fast as possible, but You know, I got 2 or 3 more weeks of school. We have playoffs, and if we beat playoffs, we go to nationals. So after lacrosse season, I'll be a lot more active. But show you guys some of my custom dyes. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw this one right here, my Maryland Inside Out. This is what my gamer is. I just decided to replicate it because it got a lot of people that liked it. So on the inside, it's got red and white turtle shell pattern to it and the Maryland flag up top. Outside is black and yellow with the kind of yellow triangle spiel that they do. So got that one up for grabs on the command. Next is another command, but this one was with an Iroquois dye to it. Same thing inside out. Outside is purple and white with the Iroquois flag logo. Inside is gray and white. Yellow traditional with a nylon 2 straights, just classic 6 diamond. Really like this one. It really kind of shows the whole Iroquois Nationals side to it. You know, you got the leather pocket, state-of-the-art head, the command, and then just a cool dye to it. And then lastly, probably my favorite one, and one that I might do for myself, is an Inside Out USA dye on a command low. This thing took quite some time, but it came out incredible, and I absolutely love it. So the outside is navy blue with white stars, and the inside is red and white striped. Hero mesh, P34-esque pocket. I'm really big fan of the college legal P34, so I've been stringing it up for myself for maybe some summer games. But command low, newest head from Under Armour, custom dyed, really cool. So like I said, thanks for watching, guys. I'll be doing some custom dye job videos and head videos here in the near future. Show you guys my process of how I do an inside out dye like those or anything else. But last thing before we go, Firethreads Traditional. Here's the pocket I strung up. I'm definitely going to clip the shooters after I mess them a bit more and get it to be the exact way I want it. But you know, this stuff is just incredible. Doesn't stretch in water, doesn't stretch hardly any after you string it up and break it in. So once you break it in and set it up, it's good to go. Huge fan of these. We'll be stringing up a couple sticks with this custom rails in it for you guys to purchase or look at. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what your favorite dyed head is, what you guys want to see from me, as well as the Firethreads Traditional setup, and if you like it, if you've ever used one, your opinions, anything like that. I'd love to hear it.